How do you know an emotionally immature woman? She exalts her personal needs and wants above you. She exalts her personal needs and her personal wants above you and above considerations, anything that has to do with you. No considerations for you. What she needs and what she wants is superior to how you feel and how you care about, how she puts pressure on you. What matters to her is, I need it, I want you to get it for me. Again, it's about demand without having care whether you can respond. Whether you have the money or you have the capacity for it is none of our consideration. That is an emotionally immature woman, not the matured woman. And you're going to see an emotionally matured woman tomorrow. I'm going to show you how to know one so that you can know how to build your relationship around that. Number two, an emotionally immature woman never apologizes for her wrongdoings. She doesn't accept it, and she will never apologize for it. You've been in a relationship with her for as long as you've been, she hardly apologizes. No, because she's emotionally immature. Why? She believes to say, I'm sorry, means I am wrong. No, you did wrong. You are not a wrong person, but you did a wrong thing. So the inability to separate the person from the action is the reason why these individuals find it difficult to say, I am sorry. Number three, how do you know an emotionally immature woman? She condemns and criticizes you whenever things don't go her way. Right now, if you are doling out money, you are buying this, you are doing this for her, you are superhero. But as soon as things don't go away, she starts throwing tantrums. She uses bad words on you. You are a useless man. She makes a big mistake ever marrying you. Oh my God. And there was some other guy she should have married. Oh, hey, I don't know why I entered this ship. Oh, why did I enter this kind of thing with you? You know. You understand? Yeah. So one of the major signs that this is an emotionally immature woman is that she will condemn and criticize you when things don't go her way. She is, number four, forgetful and ungrateful. Emotionally immature women, they are forgetful and ungrateful during periods of temporal discomfort. They are forgetful and ungrateful during periods of temporal discomfort. All you have done before will be jettisoned because of temporal discomfort. That's the sign to show that you are dealing with an emotionally immature woman. Number five, she is very, very insecure and aggressive towards high-flying women. When they come around you, she becomes insecure. All of a sudden, the woman you were laughing with in the morning, afternoon, before the women came, or before you met with these high-flying women, as soon as you walk away from the place you're driving home, no more response. Anger is taking over. And you're like, what did I do wrong? Nothing. And then the passive-aggressive atmosphere just envelopes the whole house. It's nothing you've done. It's just that there is something about her that can't accommodate high-flying women around you. It makes her feel that their presence is at her expense. It's a terrible thing. Number six, one of the signs of a highly emotionally immature woman is that she always turns differences and conflicts of ideas into combat. Whenever we are just supposed to have conflict of ideas, we are not the same. So we can't see things the same. That's why God brought husband and wife together, for conflict of ideas, so that we can have an hybrid ideas. Check marriages where the man and the woman talk about concepts, ideas, about approach, about methodology, and they conflict it and evolve what we call a hybrid idea. Check such marriages. They are usually what we call power couples. Power couples. And check such people, they are not usually criticized so much outside because they've criticized themselves inside. Their ideas have clashed. They found the weaknesses and the strengths of their ideas. And so when they go to the wall, they are thriving because what could have made them to stop has already been considered, factored into their conversation. So there is nothing wrong to have conflict of ideas. It just shows differences. But it should not translate into combat. We should not fight. We should not attack personalities. And conflict of ideas doesn't mean that we're having conflict of personalities. The inability to separate it makes people avoid conversation. So never forget this. Emotionally immature women, they turn differences and conflict of ideas into combat zones. Number 7, how do you know an emotionally immature woman? She is very high on nagging, but very low on clear communication. She can nag, but when it's, okay, what are you nagging about? Talk. And she can't clearly communicate her pains, desires, whatever it is that is on the inside of her. But nagging, she's got an alpha when it comes to nagging. Clear communication, she's right on the fail trajectory because she will not spend time to think through. She finds it more comfortable to use aggression to get attention. The older you get, the more you get to realize that using aggression to get affection is not the best way out. I'm out of time, but I'm not out of words. Tomorrow, we're going to come together again, and I'm going to be sharing with you the 7 major signs of matured people. And I will zoom in to 7 major signs of matured men and matured women. You don't want to miss out on it. You need to watch this broadcast again, play it in your car, share it with your friends. Where you know you've gone wrong, where you know you need, oh, that's me, Pastor Sammy. Oh, I didn't know I was that immature. Wow. Once you identify it, Jesus says, repent. Just say, Lord, I'm sorry. I've been blaming my partner for my immaturity. Now I accept responsibility for my own growth. I will make up my mind that this immature behavior stays in the past. They worked for me when I was growing up. They will sabotage me now in adulthood. It is what we call positive intelligence. The ability to recognize what worked when you were growing up and say to yourself, it's not going to work now, but work against me if I continue in that path. Like nagging, it worked when you were growing up. You're matured now, nagging is not the best way out. Clear communication is the key. In the same vein also, never forget this, that growth is possible. You can grow. You can change. You can become better. And trust me, you can start it right about now. I want to take you into something that is causing so much troubles in relationships. I'm talking about immaturity in relationship. Maturity versus immaturity. How do you know that someone that looks matured is not matured? Does age really translate into maturity? Does size makes you say somebody's matured? Does education, degrees, does all of that translate into what we call maturity? Where you're about to discover that someone may look big, someone may look well built, someone may be educated, someone may even be one who has so much degrees, and shockingly, somebody may even be one who has lots of spiritual depth, and the person may not be matured when it comes to the issues of marriage and relationships. So I'd like you to get into this flow today. Get your pen, your paper, whatever you want to use to write as we have this great conversation today. Trust me, this is going to be like nothing you've heard in a long time. So let's get into the flow today. And I pray that the Spirit of the Lord will guide us through this conversation. The first thing that I want to talk about is maturity and immaturity. And I'd like you to zoom into the key concept here of the word immaturity. Let's look at the word immature. The word immature, it will amaze you to know, actually takes its root from a Latin word that is called immaturitas. Immaturitas. That is the Latin word for immature. It is the Latin word immaturitas. And immaturitas actually means unripe. So the word immaturitas is actually an agricultural word. Whenever they come to pluck their fruits and discover that a fruit looks big, looks good, but it's not ripe, they call that immaturitas. They said, yes, it looks beautiful. Yes, it looks big. For instance, if you have a pawpaw, if you have a mango, you have an orange fruit, it looks big, it looks nice, it looks welcoming. The only challenge is that it's not yet ripe. Now, anything that is not yet ripe should be left hanging on the tree. It should not be taken home for eating. I'm going to say that again. If it's still unripe, leave it on the tree and let it mature. I understand for those of us who are into selling of fruits, how that you can pluck it while it is still unripe, and then you will have to apply effort to try to make it become ripe. And you know the danger with things you make ripe, and sometimes you don't allow them to become ripe, you make them ripe, is that sometimes they end up hurting you, all right, when you eat them. In the same vein, when you have an unripe fruit, leave it on the tree and let time and effect take its course so that it can mature. Then you can pluck it and you can bring it home and you can actually have fellowship with it. In the same vein, some men and some women are better left. Is that okay? Better left to ripe before you get connected with them in relationship. They are still going through what we call immaturitas. They are still going through the ripening process. Yes, they may have graduated from the university, they have cars, they have houses, they have all these fanciful things, and they have monies in their bank accounts, they even speak with tongues, but they are immaturitas. They are not yet matured. They have not yet become ripe, ready, and capable of handling another person within their space. It is critical to know that maturity is not a gift. Maturity is not a gift. It is not a transferable thing, meaning I can't transfer my maturity to you and say, come here, come close, I lay hands on you now, receive maturity. No, you don't receive maturity, you become maturity, and there is a process. Maturity is the response to yieldedness to a process. When we say a fruit is ripe, we're saying it's gone through a process. I'm going to say that again. When we say a fruit is ripe, we're saying that that fruit has gone through a process. It has submitted itself to the rigors of being matured, right? So it's not a gift. It's not something you can dash somebody, okay? I can't bless an anointing handkerchief. I can't bless an handkerchief and put it on you and say, now receive maturity. No, 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 no. You become matured. You become ripe. Maturitas, immaturitas, unripe. Is that okay? If you are unripe, you had better stay alone. You don't need somebody in your life when you are immature. Now, marriage is not a cure for immaturity. Write that down. Wow. I think we're in for some ripples today. Marriage is not the cure for immaturity. I will be so glad if you can write that down. Marriage is not the cure for immaturity. That is critical. Marriage is not at all the cure for immaturity. It's never been, and it will never be. On the contrary, marriage reveals immaturity. Write that down. Marriage reveals immaturity. If you're not matured, don't go into marriage. You're going to damage other people's lives. So marriage is not the cure for immaturity. On the contrary, an immature person will damage the lives of other people when you move into marriage. It's important to take note of that. Now, what are the key signs? What are the key signs that someone is immature? I want to take you through that very quickly. What are the key signs that someone is immature for marriage or relationship? Remember that an immature person is anyone who is not yet ripe for relationship or marriage. Very important. An immature person is anyone who is not yet ripe for marriage or relationship. Take a note of this. That it looks, feels, and even actually is big doesn't mean it is ripe already. The question is about being ripe already. It's not about size of the bank account of the car. No. So let's get down to the 7 signs of emotionally immature people. What are the 7 major signs of emotionally immature people? We're going to go straight into that right about now. Number 1, emotionally immature people demand unreasonable attention from their spouses or potential spouses. Never forget that. Emotionally immature people, they usually place a demand that is unreasonable on their spouses or potential spouses. They want you to do what you are not wired to do. They place demands on you without determining your capacity for response. I wish I could write that down. Take a look at this. It is called demand versus response. Yes, demand versus response. Immature people will place an unreasonable demand on you without checking to know if you have the capacity for response. They are not concerned about your capacity to respond. They are only concerned about your ability. They are only concerned about their desire and their demands. That's what matters. They don't care about your ability. You have the money. It's none of their business. I want you to just buy me a Rolls Royce. I want you to buy me a diamond ring on our wedding day. I want you to take me on vacation to the Bahamas. I don't know where you're going to get the money, but just know that that's the way I feel, you know. So they place a demand on you, and they don't care if you have capacity for response. It is what immature people do. Have you noted that about kids? Now, another amazing definition of the word immature is childish. Childish behaviors. Have you noticed kids will look at you and say, "Daddy, Mommy, buy me an airplane." The father doesn't even have a bicycle, but the child is, "Daddy, buy me an airplane." You know, I remember my kids growing up, particularly my daughter, she would just watch something on television, and she rushes to her mom, and she's like, "Hey, Mom," and she sees something that kids are eating in America, and my daughter will rush to her mom and say, "Hey, Mom," and she start placing orders, and you know, and here we are, we're in Nigeria, and you're placing demands on us not caring to know if we have capacity for response. Children do that. They don't consult with your capacity for response, but before they place a demand on you. And the same thing you have when you are dealing with individuals who are highly demanding and unaware of the fact that you also need your own personal space. They are so demanding. They just want to be with me, do something for me. Now, they don't even care to know when you need your own space, when you need your own time. They crowd you. There's something about these individuals. They believe you exist and you live for them. The reason you live is to meet their needs. So they will crowd your space. They will call on you. They will text on you. They will barge on you. They don't care about your schedule as far as they are concerned. If you don't pick their call, they are angry. You don't respond to their text when they want you to. They are angry because as far as they are concerned, they are just the only individuals you must attend to and you should attend to on earth. And there's somebody watching me right now. It is the reason why there's crisis in your relationship. You better share this video right now. God bless you as you share. Let me tell you what you're doing. As you share the video, you are rescuing marriages. You are rescuing families. You are setting people free. You are helping us to get rid of, minimize divorce. Is that okay? So why don't you go ahead, all of you on YouTube right now and on Facebook, Instagram, go ahead and share the video with some friends. Copy the link and send it on your WhatsApp group, relationship groups that you belong to. Send it to those groups now. Some of them are just busy talking about irrelevant things on the group. Send this to them now. I am very sure they'll be very thankful to you for sharing that with them. All right? So don't forget this. One of the major signs of immaturity in relationship, the proof that somebody is unripe, is that the person is going to constantly place a demand on your time, on your resource, on your emotions, on your presence. The person is going to have you live your life just to meet their needs. And whenever you're unable to meet their needs immediately, the person begins to react. You begin to see aggressive behaviors. At some other times, you see what we call passive-aggressive behaviors. You know, the passive-aggressive behavior is the one whereby you are angry at somebody, but you don't want to show the person. But you know, unfortunately, it's betraying your demeanor, your persona, your mien, everything is betraying you. The only person that is being fooled that, you know, you're not angry is yourself. Because you don't know that you're betraying yourself. That passive-aggressive behaviors cannot be concealed. Oh, you didn't hear what I just said right now. You can't conceal passive-aggressive behavior. You're causing tremors and you believe you're the only one that is not feeling that the ground is shaking. Is that okay? You are causing ripples and you're the only one that believes that there is stability on the ocean. No. Passive-aggressive behaviors, no matter how you try to conceal them, they are not things you can properly conceal. I know there are some of you who are into relationship coaching and you're watching this. It gladdens my heart that we can have this moment together. And it's so wonderful to learn from you as much as we learn from each other. We can really help a lot of people these days. So the first sign of immaturity in relationship is what I call the demands, unreasonable demands, without a concern that you can respond. So we say emotionally immature people demand unreasonable attention from their spouses or potential spouses. They make unreasonable demand. Number two, emotionally immature people reject, they shift, and they transfer blames. That's how you know emotionally immature people. That's how you know immaturitas. That's how you know people who are grown physically, physiologically, but they are not matured emotionally. Is that okay? They are emotionally immature. They are like the fruit that is ripe that should be allowed to stay on the tree until it is ripe before it's brought home and fellowshipped with. One of the signs that you are an immaturitas is the fact that you always reject, you always shift and transfer blames. You always personalize mistakes. That's why you don't accept mistakes. Because you believe that you are what you did. You are not what you did. That you made mistakes doesn't mean you are a mistake. So it's okay to say, I accept my mistakes. Immature people don't accept mistakes. You see that with children. The moment you say, who did this? No, it's not. It wasn't me. It was Danny that pushed Mikey, and Mikey pushed this. You saw that in Adam. That is why you notice that even though Adam was made in the image of God, even though Adam was that wonderful man, there was a problem. We later noticed this guy was just not matured. Adam, take responsibility. And Adam kept on shifting blames. It was the woman, it was that. But then look at Jesus. I wanted to see the difference between the first Adam and the last Adam. The first Adam was guilty, but shifted the blame. The last Adam was not the guilty one, and he took the blame. That's the difference between mature and immature people. Jesus, our last Adam, took upon himself, an error he did not commit. The punishment for a sin he did not commit. That is a matured person. I'll be talking about that tomorrow. That is a matured person. What is a proof of immaturity? Shifting of blames. And you saw that in Adam. It was a woman you gave me. It was a woman you gave me. It was a woman you gave me. He was shifting the blame, transferring the blame. But look at the last Adam, Jesus. He said, no, don't worry, Lord. I take it upon myself. It's going to be painful, but it's all right. I take the blame for what I didn't do. I take it so that they can be free. So that the undeserving can enjoy their life and the deserving will suffer punishment. It's called maturity. So one of the major signs that you are not matured is, I don't care to know how much money you have, and honestly, and I respect that. And I don't care to know what title you have in society. If you are good at shifting blames and transferring blames, even if you see 7 angels every morning, you are not yet matured. You are immaturitas. That's how the Latin put it. All right? It's simply, and the reason you don't accept mistakes is because you personalize it. You think, well, if I take that mistake, they will say I'm a mistake. No. So you believe that if you say you did something wrong, it means you are wrong. That I did doesn't mean I am. I am not what I did. I did what I did, but it's not who I am. The best of us can do the worst of things, and the worst of us can do the best of things. So the sign of immaturity is shifting of blames. Number 3. Let me tell you this. You better invite someone in your office, a colleague in the office. Because what I'm sharing is beyond just marriage and relationship. You're going to be seeing some as I talk now, you're going to be, oh my God, now I understand what is happening to that guy in my office. Because I'm also going to end up today's teaching by specifically narrowing it down to 7 immature behaviors that men exhibit and 7 immature behaviors that women exhibit. I hope I can fire through to that end. All right? Let's get down to the next point. Emotionally immature people make promises to you that they consistently break or violate. Emotionally immature people, if I marry you, if you will just marry me, listen. We're going to do our wedding. So it's going to be on the it's going to be in the blue waters of Hawaii. We will do our vacation somewhere in Maui Island. We're going to go around the world. 1 month we will not work. We're just going to be cruising around the world. Now here's somebody who is broke. What he's just sharing with you is a vision. He's just sharing dreams. He's just sharing, it's an aspiration. This guy, listen, there is nothing physically available to, no planning, no funding, not nothing. His income can't buy a ticket. But it's promising you global tour. Global tour. You are going to start our trip from Dubai. From Dubai, we're going to fly into France. And from France, we move. That's how his finger will be moving. We are like France, like that. We're it's funny. And when he's talking, when she's talking, when they're making those promises, they're just excited. What they've never taken time to do is the gravity. They are not considering the cost of their promise. So the older I get, the more conscious I am about my promises. The older I get, the more conscious. What will this promise cost? Do I have, in a situation whereby all my expectations to fund that promise fails, do I have a reserve that can fund it in order to maintain my integrity? So how do you know emotionally immature people? I see my daughter. Listen, my daughter and I, we went out with my wife and my son, and we were somewhere in an electronics shop, and my daughter said, "Dad, I would like to buy a PS5 for David." David is her brother, her older brother. She says she wants to buy a PS5. Now, a PS5 is not a joke in my country. We're talking about some hundreds of thousands of dollars. And she just talked. That's how you know immaturities. No, this girl doesn't have a bank account. This girl is not working anywhere. She doesn't have a job. This girl is yet to even finish her primary education. She's going to buy a PS5. So I said to her, "Sweetheart, go ahead." She was like, "No, Dad. I want it to buy it for David. You pay." I'm like, "Who pays?" You're about to learn a lesson from what I'm saying right now. When you marry immature people, they will dream, you will pay. That's the problem. When you marry immature individuals, they will dream and you will pay. Because all they know how to do is talk about it, dream about it. The sky is already old. And they are just watching a film, and they saw James Bond with a car that entered into the water. And, "Sweetheart, can you buy us a car that swims inside the water?" Like, are you? Oh God. Okay, so who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay for your James Bond car? And she goes out for a birthday party. And when she goes out for a birthday party and she sees that, during a birthday, one guy comes around and, he goes on his knees and then carries something like a little pouch and hands it over to his woman. And then she opens it and it turned out to be the key of a latest car. And, something like that, a 2021 edition, 2022 limited edition. She leaves the place. And now she has a dream. And she has to come home. Now she's got a car you just bought at 2020. The car is still looking nice. Everything is okay. No engine problem, no tire problems. The seats are still new. Babies, immaturities, moment they see something, they come home and they talk about it and will pester you until you pay for it. So my daughter, an immaturities, looked at me and she said, "Dad, I want to buy a PS5 for my brother." And I'm like, "Okay, so pay for it." She was like, "No." She said, "Dad, I want to buy it. You do the payment." I'm like, "I get it now. It's the price you pay for hanging around immaturities." They will dream. They will do the talk. They will get you into financial crisis. They will buy now, you pay later. Immaturities. The only thing they have is desires. No restraint. If they want it now, they want it now. And it doesn't matter where they will get it from. Somebody will be made to pay for it. And if you're dealing with women who are immature readers, they will do anything to get a man to pay for it. That's why women, go, not all women, I'm talking about a very small number of women, because globally speaking, we are very responsible women all over the world, highly responsible women. But there's a minority of the women who will do anything, and it happens in my country. They will meet men who are married, and by the time they start rubbing his head, this immaturita, she's seen a car she wants to buy. Her friends are going to Dubai. She wants to join them. She doesn't have the money, but she has the body. So she's going to use her body to get the money. It's immaturitas. And there are men like that too, who put their women under intense pressure to get them what they want. The men wake up, do nothing but tie wrapper with chewing stick in their mouths, like an old man in a village setting in Africa, watching the sun rise with no dreams, and staying home right in front of the house with some keg of palm wine and watching the sun set. And wait for a woman to go to the farm, wait for a woman to go to work and come back. And she brings the money. And one of such guys in our city called the woman he just married. She works in the bank. He looked at the woman and he resigned from work. And the wife said, "Why did you resign?" He said, "Well, I just sense a need to just serve God." And he said, "Now you have to be bringing your income and you have to lay it at the apostles' feet." I said, "Really? An apostle in the house? Come and lay." She goes to work and she comes to lay the money at your feet, apostle. But by the way, sir, who ordained you an apostle? How is it that it was when you got married you became an apostle? Your transformation is really remarkable. And now the apostle stays at home and the congregation member goes to work and brings the money. Is that what you read about apostles in the Bible? No, sir. You hear Paul the apostle say, "With my hands I have worked." Paul, a man overseeing several churches, a man that will go to the third heaven in fasting always, that man could still work. Hard work. That's an apostle. So if you marry immaturitas, you will pay the price for their dreams. You will pay the price for their pleasures. You will pay the price for the trouble they get you into in the area of finances. They lack financial discipline. They don't have delayed gratification. What they want, they go for. They will put you under pressure. And the consequence of it is that your finances will never be stable because you are paying the price for hooking up with an immaturitas. What is another sign that we can use to know an emotionally immature person? An emotionally immature person is one who is ideologically rigid. Don't let that bother you. Ideologically rigid and behaviorally inflexible. They are ideologically rigid. They don't, what they believe is what they believe. How they behave is how they still behave. So what they are talking to you about, their beliefs, is the belief they had when they were 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. In our family, this is what we believe. And the person begins to quote to you a belief that is outdated, irrelevant, generationally obsolete, non-progressive, unprogressive, a belief system that is self-limiting and relationship destroying. And they believe that ideal. For me, I believe that the way into a man's heart is through his stomach. Who told you that? I don't. You don't come to my heart through my stomach. You're wasting your time. You can't cook me into a relationship. It might work for somebody, it doesn't work for all men. So the point I'm making is there are people who are ideologically rigid. What you believed 10, 20 years ago, you still hold on to it. You've never questioned what you believe. You've never questioned the validity of it. You've never questioned the relevancy of it. You've never questioned the productive nature of what you believe. You just believe. Somebody told it to you, and you just hold on to it. Whether it's a cultural belief, religious belief, traditional belief, you just heard it. For instance, how many wise men came to Jesus? I wish I can ask all of you to type quickly now so that I can catch some of us. You will be shocked at the answer. You don't do it. You'll be shocked at the answer we're going to have. 3 wise men. Is that not how many number of people that came to Jesus? 3 wise men, right? Okay. As a point, that's one of the beliefs you have that you've never questioned. Is it true? No. Is it in the Bible? No. But that's the Bible story you were given. 3 wise men, and you believe it. And when you were teaching your children the Bible too, you were teaching with authority. You were like, 3 wise men came to Jesus. Never forget that. There were 3 wise men. They came to Jesus. Excuse me. So you kept on, look, what you were talking, you see, what you were talking about, the audacity with which you were talking, like you were correct. 3 wise men, they came to Jesus when he was born. No. The Bible says wise men came, they brought 3 gifts, 3 major gifts. Where was Adam created? Don't write it, don't let anybody know you are the one. But I can imagine it. You are saying Adam was created in the Garden of Eden, right? No. Adam was not created in the Garden of Eden. Adam was created in Eden, and then a garden was created where he was now put into so he can work. See, the point I'm making is you've never questioned your beliefs. What do you believe about men? You've never questioned it. What do you believe about women? Who told you? You've never questioned it. You've never done a comparative study. You've never done an investigative study to get to question your beliefs. Why would you transfer a belief to your children that you never question? Why would you just pass on a belief system to your children when yourself don't know how it came about? Those who are lazy to question their beliefs and investigate their beliefs are the ones who perpetuate mediocrity and ignorance across generations. And that's one of the signs of immaturity. The unwillingness to question beliefs. The unwillingness to dig deep and say, wait, is this true? What do I believe? Why do I believe what I believe? So emotionally immature people are ideologically rigid and they are behaviorally inflexible. What that means is that they don't welcome new ideas. They are unwilling to try new ways of doing things, and they hold on to their behaviors. Even if the behavior is sinking the ship, they keep behaving that way. Their behaviors don't improve. You can't say, oh, years ago I was like this. Years after, look at me. I can't even believe. The me today, if it meets with the me of yesterday, they can't recognize each other. Until you can say that, you've not yet changed behaviorally. If the you of 10 years ago meets with the you of today, and they can still relate in terms of behavior, you have not marginally grown in your behavior. And babies don't like to change their behaviors. Another sign of immaturity is that emotionally immature people they are highly critical. They are highly abusive. They are highly demeaning. People who are emotionally immature, immaturitas, they like to criticize people that they're in relationship with. They are highly critical at work, at home, in relationship. Very critical, very abusive, and very demeaning. They easily will abuse you, and they don't even care. They will criticize you. They don't have any feeling of any kind when they do that. Whether they abuse you verbally, physically, emotionally, they don't care. They just say what they want to say. They do what they want to do. They just love to put you down so that they can be up. It makes them feel good when you are feeling bad. Emotionally immature people, they are extremely distrustful. That's another thing you need to know about emotionally immature people. They are extremely distrustful, highly suspicious, and always jealous. They are distrustful. They can't trust you. If you like, be truly sincere with them. Live your life. Let there be searchlight following you all over the place. They will still not trust you. It is a dysfunction inside them. Your presence can't cure it. Your integrity of heart is not going to cure their dysfunction. It is just that they are immature. They have their own problem and they are their own problem. You cannot cure them by living right. You are just going to frustrate yourself. You can't cure them by living right. Just live right because it is right to live right. But don't live right to impress them. These are highly dysfunctional individuals. Their background was skewed. They have challenges growing up, and they have refused to confront their challenges, and they want to mess up your own life. So make up your mind that you will live right, not to please them, and you will live right because it is right. Never think living right is going to make them start thinking right. It doesn't happen like that with them. They are very distrustful. Let your phone be open and it's not passworded. They will check it 1,000 times even when they can't find anything. They are just distrustful. They are just individuals who are very suspicious. They were wounded when they were growing up. They grew up in environments where there was no trust and everybody suspected everybody. And to that end, they will continue that business in your relationship with them. It's important to know that they are very, very jealous. Very jealous. These are the kind of individuals who will suspect you. They will suspect you. They will be very jealous of anyone that comes around you. Even if you have nothing to do with them, they are very suspicious. They will suspect you, suspect those who are close to you. And if they see any woman that looks like it's more accomplishing than them, and the person is pouring accolade on you, they will take war on that person. They see any man who is more of an accomplisher than themselves, they will take up the trouble with the man. They will even claim that you are sleeping with the man. It's a very, very terrible, terrible sign of immaturity. The last one. Emotionally immature people are spontaneous, focusless, and irrational. Emotionally immature people, they have this combination. They are very spontaneous. There's nothing wrong with being spontaneous, but they are focusless. So they are focuslessly spontaneous. Permit me to use such. They are spontaneous. It has no focus. They are irrational. They don't think through or pray through before making their choices or decisions. They don't plan the future with you. Why? They don't even have a plan for the future. They live for today. They live for now. They live for how they feel. They live for what they want right now. They are the kind of people that will tell you that, look, listen, today is all you've got. There is nothing like tomorrow. So let's enjoy our life. And like there's no tomorrow. And then they wake up tomorrow and discover that they have no money to pay for school fees and house rent and the rest of that. It is a sign of emotional immaturity. Practically speaking, write this down. There are 7 signs you can use to know an emotionally immature man. 7 signs you can use to know an emotionally immature man. Number 1, an emotionally immature man makes foolish decisions with great consequences. An emotionally immature man, if you're in a relationship with any of them, you will know what I'm talking about. They make foolish decisions with great consequences. Their decisions and choices are always very foolish, and the consequences are usually very great and grave. Lose money, bring the family into trouble, get into security, into police cases, get into court cases, and they are always going from one of such troubles to another. Why? They constantly make foolish decisions just to show that they are immature. Number 2, emotionally immature men, they avoid taking responsibilities for the risk that they take. Emotionally immature men, they avoid taking responsibilities for the risk that they take. Write that down. This is very important. That's how to know. Those of you that want to marry men who are still single ladies, that's how to know a man. You should, hey, hold on. And if you are married to a man already who is having all these criteria, symptoms or signs, then you need to now know how to start planning your life so that his life does not affect your life and your children. An emotionally immature man avoids taking responsibility for the risk that he takes. Number 3, an emotionally immature man avoids accepting responsibility for the mistakes that he makes. Never accepts mistakes. An emotionally immature man never accepts mistakes. Never. Well, will talk his way around it. Never address the fact that I made a mistake. I brought this upon myself and my family and my relationship. They make poor choices, poor decisions. They never accept mistakes. They never accept the blames. Number 4, they never apologize for wrong decisions, for wrong actions. That's how to know an emotionally immature man. Never accept to apologize for any wrong action or wrong decisions. Number 5, an emotionally immature man ignores your family and isolates you from your family. Ignores your friends and isolates you from your friends. An emotionally immature man likes to ignore and isolate you from your loved ones. People that you care about, people that care about you, he will ignore them and he will isolate you from them. Number 6, an emotionally immature man lacks emotional and sexual discipline. An emotionally immature man lacks emotional and sexual discipline. Meaning, emotionally, how he feels is how he reacts. He's angry now, he can break bottles, scatter anything, beat you up, and that's how he feels. No control. Not only that, sexually too, if he travels, he feels like sleeping with anybody, he'll sleep with anybody. Sleep with dogs, he sleep with anything. Sleep with ladies in the office, sleep in the car, sleep on the road, sleep in the brothel. Is just basically an immature man who is driven by feelings. Lastly, an emotionally immature man is negatively influenced by mom and by friends. By mom, by sisters, and by friends. He is not a man of himself. He's not a man who makes his own decisions. I'm going to be showing you a matured man tomorrow. I'm going to be showing you how to know matured men tomorrow. Lastly, 7 signs of an emotionally immature woman. Because the men are like, okay, Pastor Sam, is it just us? Okay, so let's get down to the women. Let's get down to the women now. How do you know an emotionally immature woman? She exalts her personal needs and wants above you. She exalts her personal needs and her personal wants above you and above considerations, anything that has to do with you. No considerations for you. What she needs and what she wants is superior to how you feel and how you care about, how she puts pressure on you. What matters to her is, I need it, I want you to get it for me. Again, it's about demand without having care whether you can respond. Whether you have the money or you have the capacity for it is none of our consideration. That is an emotionally immature woman, not the matured woman. And you're going to see an emotionally matured woman tomorrow. I'm going to show you how to know one so that you can know how to build your relationship around that. Number two, an emotionally immature woman never apologizes for her wrongdoings. She doesn't accept it, and she will never apologize for it. You've been in a relationship with her for as long as you've been, she hardly apologizes. No, because she's emotionally immature. Why? She believes to say, I'm sorry, means I am wrong. No, you did wrong. You are not a wrong person, but you did a wrong thing. So the inability to separate the person from the action is a reason why these individuals find it difficult to say, I am sorry. Number three, how do you know an emotionally immature woman? She condemns and criticizes you whenever things don't go her way. Right now, if you are doling out money, you are buying this, you are doing this for her, you are superhero. But as soon as things don't go her way, she starts throwing tantrums. She uses bad words on you. You are a useless man. She makes a big mistake ever marrying you. Oh my God. And there was some other guy she should have married. Oh, hey, I don't know why I entered this ship. Oh, why did I enter this kind of thing with you? You know. You understand? Yeah. So one of the major signs that this is an emotionally immature woman is that she will condemn and criticize you when things don't go her way. She is, number four, forgetful and ungrateful. Emotionally immature women, they are forgetful and ungrateful during periods of temporal discomfort. They are forgetful and ungrateful during periods of temporal discomfort. All you have done before will be jettisoned because of temporal discomfort. That's the sign to show that you are dealing with an emotionally immature woman. Number five, she is very, very insecure and aggressive towards high-flying women. When they come around you, she becomes insecure. All of a sudden, the woman you were laughing with in the morning, afternoon, before the women came, or before you met with these high-flying women, as soon as you walk away from the place you're driving home, no more response. Anger is taking over. And you're like, what did I do wrong? Nothing. And then the passive-aggressive atmosphere just envelopes the whole house. It's nothing you've done. It's just that there is something about her that can't accommodate high-flying women around you. It makes her feel that their presence is at her expense. It's a terrible thing. Number six, one of the signs of a highly emotionally immature woman is that she always turns differences and conflicts of ideas into combat. Whenever we are just supposed to have conflict of ideas, we are not the same. So we can't see things the same. That's why God brought husband and wife together, for conflict of ideas, so that we can have an hybrid ideas. Check marriages where the man and the woman talk about concepts, ideas, about approach, about methodology, and they conflict it and evolve what we call a hybrid idea. Check such marriages. They are usually what we call power couples. Power couples. And check such people, they are not usually criticized so much outside because they've criticized themselves inside. Their ideas have clashed. They found the weaknesses and the strengths of their ideas. And so when they go to the wall, they are thriving because what could have made them to stop has already been considered, factored into their conversation. So there is nothing wrong to have conflict of ideas. It just shows differences. But it should not translate into combat. We should not fight. We should not attack personalities. And conflict of ideas doesn't mean that we're having conflict of personalities. The inability to separate it make people avoid conversation. So never forget this. Emotionally immature women, they turn differences and conflict of ideas into combat zones. Number 7. How do you know an emotionally immature woman? She is very high on nagging, but very low on clear communication. She can nag, but when it's, okay, what are you nagging about? Talk. And she can't clearly communicate her pains, desires, whatever it is that is on the inside of her. But nagging, she's got an alpha when it comes to nagging. Clear communication, she's right on the fail trajectory because she will not spend time to think through. She finds it more comfortable to use aggression to get attention. The older you get, the more you get to realize that using aggression to get affection is not the best way out. I'm out of time, but I'm not out of words. Tomorrow, we're going to come together again, and I'm going to be sharing with you the 7 major signs of matured people. And I will zoom in to 7 major signs of matured men and matured women. You don't want to miss out on it. You need to watch this broadcast again, play it in your car, share it with your friends. Where you know you've gone wrong, where you know you need, oh, that's me, Pastor Sammy. Oh, I didn't know I was that immature. Wow. Once you identify it, Jesus says, repent. Just say, Lord, I'm sorry. I've been blaming my partner for my immaturity. Now I accept responsibility for my own growth. I will make up my mind that this immature behavior stays in the past. They worked for me when I was growing up. They will sabotage me now in adulthood. It is what we call positive intelligence. The ability to recognize what worked when you were growing up and say to yourself, it's not going to work now, but work against me if I continue in that path. Like nagging, it worked when you were growing up. You're matured now, nagging is not the best way out. Clear communication is the key. In the same vein also, never, never forget this, that growth is possible. You can grow. You can change. You can become better. And trust me, you can start it right about now. And none of us can do all of this by ourselves without the help of God. There's no way I could have done that. There's no way I can be doing it without the help of God, the Holy Spirit, and the Word of God. If you've not given your life to Jesus, none of us, you inclusive, you can't accomplish some of these things without the help of God. Would you like to give your life to Jesus? Would you want him to come into your life and help you become a better version of yourself? Yes, I know you would like to do so. I'd like to pray with you if you wouldn't mind. Would you just say with me, dear Lord Jesus? Say, I recognize that I'm a sinner. I can't save myself. But I know you died on the cross just to save me. I confess with my mouth, because now I believe with my heart that you died on the cross, you were buried, and you rose again just for me. Holy Spirit, come into my heart. Begin to walk in me. Bring a new me out of me through the Word of God that I begin to read. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.